Hi, this is Jonathan Rosenhead, Jerusalem psychotherapist. This week's Torah and Psychology post, Parashat Yisro and the War in Israel, is titled Nature, Challenges, and Emuna. What we see in this week's parasha is we learn about the son of Moshe Rabbeinu, who is called Eliezer. And interestingly, Rashi comments on the name and why Moshe chose to call his son Eliezer, because he was recognizing and showing gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that Hashem saved him. And when was he saved? Rashi explains that when he was under threat of his life was in danger, when it was discovered that he had killed the Mitzri, his life was in danger, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved him. And the Sifsei Chachamim makes a link between this reference to HaKadosh Baruch Hu saving him in this event and the incident when Moshe Rabbeinu had killed the Mitzri. The Sifsei Chachamim makes a link to the very first conversation between Moshe and HaKadosh Baruch Hu at the burning bush. When Moshe says, in my nature, I have a speech impediment. I can't do the task that you are setting me, that you are asking me to do. I'm not capable of speaking to Paro to take the Bnei Yisrael out. To which HaKadosh Baruch Hu replied and said, who put speech into man? And then continues and said, who makes man mute, dumb, also deaf, and also gives sight, or makes people blind? HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, it is me. I am the one that gives these natural characteristics to man. I am the one that is able to influence and to control, in a sense, and to influence how things play out, how things occur. Although it's on the world, although it's in a natural, through the realm of nature, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is still there, is always there to influence. And therefore, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, and Rashi explains, when Hashem says, who put speech into man? He said, who put the words into your mouth in order to argue your case against in front of Paro when you were faced with the charge of killing the Mitzri? And who made Paro dumb, or he wasn't able to did not put in the effort to carry out his command of ordering you to be killed? And who made the officers deaf, that they didn't hear the order that was given to kill you? And who made the executioner blind, that he didn't see that you were running away? Everything was done by Hashem in order to save Moshe. So Moshe is having this gratitude and appreciation at the end and the link that the Sifsei Chachamim is making is that although seemingly naturally he was limited, he had an impediment, he was incapable of fulfilling his task. At the end of the day, what Moshe sees is that Hashem is the one who was there to help him. Hashem used influence through nature. It was all done in a way to manipulate and help and survive and to protect Moshe Rabbeinu. And what we see here is that even though, through the example of Moshe Rabbeinu, even though it might seem that on an emotional level, psychological level, even on a physical level as well, biological, we feel that we are limited, that we are not capable, that we just are not able to do something, and sometimes this is stumbling blocks that we place in front of us. A lot of therapy can work with people with low self-esteem or low self-confidence, where they feel naturally they are limited and they're not able to achieve things in life. And they say, look, I can't do this, and they bring examples, and in a way it seems legitimate, and they show through their nature they have limitations. Through what is hopeful, what can happen through therapy is an appreciation and understanding and this is where the Emuna comes into it as well, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu imbues us with personality, characteristics and tendencies, skills and strengths, that this is what we need to tap into and to be able to develop and to use and to also take advantage as much as possible to maximize our potential. That although we seem naturally perhaps we feel or understand, and perhaps have a perception that we are limited, really it's through tapping into our very nature and understanding what we have, what Hashem has given us, is that is how we're able to grow and develop and to actually be successful. What can help, obviously, is when we are faced with this combination of nature and challenges. If you add in the Emuna and understanding that as we see from Moshe, that even though you're faced with challenges and you seem to be naturally restricted or limited, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always there to influence. And in the end of the day, he's also there to be able to help change our natural limitations, to actually be able to survive and to prosper and to move on with our life. HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed that through a clear case of Moshe when his life was in danger. So too in our cases, in our life, when we are faced with danger, perhaps we feel that our life is in danger, that perhaps situations can be so drastic and so challenging that there seems to be no way out. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there to help us tap into our natural characteristics and skills. And the Sforno actually alludes to this. On the Pasuk where it says, who placed speech into man? He says that Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, placed the natural preparations into the nature of man, which means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu already instilled within us the natural ability and potential, but it's there for us to tap into, and that's what we need to understand and identify. Sometimes you need a therapist, or through the therapeutic process, we're able to reach this understanding and insight. But really, at its core, we know that the Kodesh Baruch Hu has given us the skills already, has given us the strengths, and sometimes we need Emuna. We need to understand this connection, this combination between facing challenges, understanding that we have the natural skills and talents to overcome them, and this will be as well through our Emuna and our connection with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. The Kodesh Baruch Hu is always there to help us. And now more than ever, this is pertinent with the war in Israel, which is a war that by very nature seems to be so human and focused on nature. Life is at risk. It's people fighting each other through natural forces. And more so, there's also when we talk about the natural characteristics, of speech, of hearing. We see throughout this war, there's propaganda, there's the spokespeople, there's the political aspect of it. Everything seems to be focused on nature. But the Kodesh Baruch Hu, at the end of the day, is there to influence and is there behind the scenes, is running the show, is there to influence and change. And at the end of the day, is there to help us to tap into our natural skills, our talents, whether it's through survival, through the medical knowledge and the medical skills, whether it's through combat and the forces that we have. The Kodesh Baruch Hu is there, Baruch Hashem, to help us through this and to win as well. At the end of the day, what we see from Moshe Rabbeinu is that he had this appreciation through the birth of Eliezer, through the birth of his son. This is the growth and the development, the post-traumatic growth coming out of the challenge. The Kodesh Baruch Hu is there to help us tap into our nature, tap into our strengths, and to help us to win. So I wish you a good Shabbos and keep well.